for class. Please let me know if we have sound. I haven't been able to do it with sound the last couple of days, so I keep redoing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video, or actually an audio, of me teaching the class, and then I'm going to demonstrate for you. So if you want to, you can follow along, hopefully, if it all works out. It has not been going as according to plan lately, but that's okay. You know, we're still here. Can't stop, won't stop, to steal Shan's slogan. So thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that this yoga class is something that you can enjoy. I have spent many months devising it, and I love it. I've been doing it at least once a day, if not twice a day. It's such a good workout, but it almost feels like a nap. You're on the floor the whole time, sitting down or laying down. I apologize in advance for some of the rude positions and poses that you might see me in, but you know, it's yoga. So what you gonna do about that? You just gotta roll with it. Let's see.
Practice. Hands on your belly.
Can you hear it?
For 10 deep belly breaths.
This is called the corpse pose. Please let me know if you can hear. And during your deep belly breaths, you want to blow your lower belly up like a balloon, then empty it like a balloon.
6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Now stay in the corpse pose for another minute.
And anytime you want to move around, wiggle around.
A minute.
Sound is good. Holy crap. Thank you so much for letting me know, Mrs. Amir. You're good. You rock. Okay. So if you're doing it with me, I won't put any pressure on you, but you might want to do it later if you're not able to do it now. It'll make you feel great while you're doing it and forever after. Don't ever overdo it, though. That's, I think, the most important thing in yoga and in life. Especially because personally, that's my weakness. I always overdo things, as you can see from my extravagant background that was going to be just a backdrop. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet except for when I have to talk. I will
stretch the neck.
Be peppering in some true crime ideas.
And now we'll do some bee breaths.
Bee breaths are pretty wild.
Your forefingers and your middle fingers on each of your eyes.
And
your thumbs pushing on the part of your ear that'll make the sound be light.
I don't know what that little piece of
We're going to do
cartilage is called.
And range, high and low and medium.
So breathing in and out of the nose.
Humming 10 times.
And humming on the out breath.
And out your nostrils. Now hug your right knee for 1 minute. Attention to the micro movements. Then after that, we will get our foot into a strap to do a single leg up the wall.
Any belt.
But first, I'll give you a minute.
Hugging the right knee for a full minute. So during any of these poses, it's important
Again, notice your
to do
micro
it
movements.
your own way. And I just on the tape said, pay attention to your micro movements.
It's good to shift, go a little deeper, maybe pull back a little bit.
You can put your head on the mat. You can try to get your forehead to your knee. You can do different. You can go back and forth.
Then you'll get the strap on the ball of your right foot and straighten your leg, engaging that foot.
Engaging simply means to arch your foot.
And moving your ankle around.
Push your heel back. And then now we're moving it. Sorry, my foot's off
For
frame.
about 30 seconds. Then we will
bend my knee.
hold the leg out to the side with or without the strap. We'll do that half straddle for another 30 seconds.
Ah! Attack of the beautiful
Breathing
decor.
into it.
That's kind of funny. I'm gonna have to just strip it all down again. As a sign.
Then switch legs to hug your left knee for a full minute. Again, paying attention to the micro movements. You can bear down on the just ever so slightly. Notice how every little movement makes a big difference. And then we'll get the left foot into the strap.
I've got a couple of different
Straighten that
straps
leg
here too.
out.
Right now I'm using this.
Foot,
Let's see if you can see the foot.
rotating that ankle.
So engaging is just flexing your
You
heel.
can also bend that knee if you like. And again, just keeping still and then slight movement and just noticing how every little thing makes a difference.
So you can
Then we'll hold that
make
leg
it a
out to the
deeper
side,
stretch,
again with or without your strap,
or
the
you
half
can
straddle.
lighten up on it.
Hold that for about 30 seconds.
It's so exciting to have your flexibility range improve so dramatically, and it will. If you're not flexible, don't worry about it. Just do what you can. You'll regain flexibility.
We lower that leg down. We will hug our right knee again and place the right knee for a supine twist. And it's nice sometimes to use a bolster for that. We'll hold this for 4 minutes. Actually, 2 minutes.
Bolster and a pillow.
In supine, after keeping your wristy over your right fingers for a full minute. Then slowly turn your head to look in the opposite direction with your arms in a T, and then placing your hand on your opposite knee. Creating a light pressure with the hand. The left hand on the right. Holding that for another minute, or about a minute altogether. Then you'll place your right leg back on the floor, hugging both knees, the neck, and then lowering your right leg and hugging your left knee to do the supine twist to the right. We will hold this supine twist to the right for a full minute with the arms in a T, keeping your gaze over your left fingers. Again, paying attention to micro movements. If it feels uncomfortable at any point, just shift. Always feel free to make whatever adjustments and shifts that you need. Keeping your gaze over your left fingers, and then slowly turning your head to look in the opposite direction with your arms in that T shape. And then your right hand on your left knee, light pressure there, holding that for another minute. Such a great stretch. It's one of my favorites. We'll lower that leg back down to the floor, then hugging the knees again, bending the neck, curl the ball. When we're done, we will hug the left knee again. Oh, wait, sorry. When done with the left knee, rotating the ankles, engaging the feet. And then we'll get into butterfly position with the bolster under the knees. And we will rainbow our arms from the sides overhead to a steeple grip.
Steeple grip is like
Feel
this,
that stretch.
sort of as if you're holding a gun.
Hold that for a couple of breaths. And then Flap your butterfly wings down, arms at your sides, palms up, and then moving your arms back up overhead, touching your fingers above your head. You can put your arms into a T and a cactus pose. Hands on your belly, it's yogi's choice. Just a few more breaths with that butterfly. And then we will use the strap on the balls of our feet to do legs up the wall. For 1 minute, we will hold that. Knees can be bent slightly. You can rock, you can wiggle.
So always on the balls of the feet when you're using the strap, never in the arch.
Just paying attention to where your body is releasing the tension, where your body's holding the tension.
Always good to rock and roll, baby.
When you're done, you can let go of the strap and hug your knees into your chest, binding your fingers, rocking and rolling, massaging the low back on the ground. And then your feet back to the floor, knees together. Allow the knees to fall to the right. Maybe a block or a bolster between the knees, maybe not. Your arms are in a T and focus your gaze to the opposite hand. Looking out over your left fingers. We'll hold this for about a minute total. Keep that gaze over your left fingertip. We're going to roll the head, turn the head slowly to look in the other direction. And then slowly we're going to turn back. And we'll bring our knees to neutral. And then the knees to the left side, both knees. Using that blocker bolster between our knees if we did so on the first side. Focusing our gaze over our right fingertips in T position. Keeping that gaze over the right fingertips. And then slow to look the opposite direction. And then slowly we'll roll our head back again. And then we'll get back to neutral. Taking a break, lay flat on the mat. When we're ready, we will very slowly turn either to your left or to your right to lay onto your front side. Up on your elbows and forearms in the Sphinx position. We'll then hike the right knee up, out next to us. With our right arm out front, we will thread the needle with our left arm. And then getting our right hand onto our right hip. You can move your arm or you can keep it on your hip. We're going to hold this for about a minute. Notice the difference from the last supine twist.
Bad spot.
Just the difference getting into the pose and all the different places your weight is, all the different places the tension is or isn't. We'll undo this twisted position and rest our head on our hands for about 30 seconds. In stillness. Then we'll hike our left knee up next to us and put our left arm out front and thread the needle with our right hand. Getting our left hand onto our hip. Holding that for a minute. Again, noticing how different this feels, even though it's a very similar supine twist to the last one we did. So as we are done with the other side, we will rest our head on our hands again, doing a windshield wiper movement with our feet and knees. And then coming out of this pose, we will push our hips back for a wide knee child's pose.
I need to straighten my mat out.
A bolster on top of our legs, maybe a pillow.
Actually, I meant to say under the bone. And this is the wide leg child's pose, kind of like a frog position.
Letting that pillow support the weight of your torso. Just kind of ragdoll your torso, your upper body. And then we'll Move through a tabletop position to lie flat on your belly. Sphinx on your forearms, your hands, your fingers. Turn your right forearm parallel with the mat, reaching for your left foot with your left hand. We'll hold this half boat pose for about 20 seconds.
It's called half boat. If you can't reach your foot, you can use your
Feel that
strap
stretch.
to get to your foot. But don't sweat it and don't hurt yourself. Just do what feels right for you.
You could always use a strap here if it's too hard to grab your foot.
You can also skip it entirely.
We'll let go of that. We'll rest for a moment. Windshield wiper the feet. Wiggle the hips. And then the other side. Turn your left forearm parallel to your mat. Reach your right hand to your right foot. And we'll hold that for about 20 seconds.
See, my right side is a little bit
Feel that stretch in
harder
your
to
thigh.
reach. Each side is going to be different.
Feel the burn.
That's normal to have your
So
left and
letting
your right
go of
have
that,
different
and
range
letting
of
both
motion.
knees down to the mat. We will push ourselves back into child's pose with the head on a block, maybe. And we'll stay in that child's pose for a full minute. Just relax into it.
This can actually be a hard pose to get into if you're tight. It might look easy, but it's not always so easy. Nothing is, right?
Again, pay attention to the micro movements. Then we'll walk our fingers over to the right corner of the mat. And then back to neutral. Walking the fingers to the left corner of the mat. Holding that pose for about another 20 seconds. Then we will tabletop to hero's pose. And then swinging our legs out in front of ourselves into
This is
staff
heroes.
pose.
Heroes is another one that can
Bolster
be
and pillows
much more difficult than you
top
might
of the
think.
legs again. To support the torso, leaning forward over the legs.
I'm going to use a lot of pillows on
Or
this
you
one.
could use a strap here on the balls of your feet. Just ragdolling your torso and pushing your hips forward. Pushing your hips forward towards your toes. Now straighten your left leg with your right foot to your left inner thigh and reach for those left toes. Hold that for another 20 seconds. simply switch it out for the other side, reaching for your right toes. And now we will get into that seated butterfly and turning our head from side to side, stretching our neck, looking down, rolling it out, right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Stretch the neck. If you'd like, you could add pressure, light pressure with your fingertips when you get your right ear down to your right shoulder. Again, and then back to neutral. And then you can use that fingertip pressure optional as you drop your left ear to your left shoulder. And then simply turning the head side to side. And bring yourself up into a wide straddle, leaning forward, holding that for about 30 more seconds. Just a nice wide straddle and
Now,
leaning
what
forward.
the blocks do essentially is bring the ground closer to you. So that's the idea behind the blocks.
And then we'll lean over to the left side for a good 30 seconds. Back to neutral and then over to the right side for another
So
half
your
minute.
blocks have 3 heights: the low, the medium, and the high. I usually have mine on the low, but it just depends.
Now bending the right knee over the left leg. That leg is out straight, and then we'll twist to the right, glancing to the back of the room.
Look at you guys, Mrs. Amir, Michael McAllister. I don't have my glasses on, but I can see a little bit.
Slowly transition your gaze to the front, leveraging your left elbow on your right knee. Slow glance side to side. And then we'll switch it out, bending the left knee over the right leg. Right leg is out straight, twisting to the left and glancing to the back of the room. Slowly turning our gaze to the front of the room. After hooking our elbow to leverage, our right elbow leveraging on our left knee, slowly glancing side to side. Then back to butterfly and into a Lord of the Fish pose.
Lord of the Flies,
Get
baby.
our right knee over our left knee bent.
The Lord of the
Twisting
Fish.
to the right.
And this one's for Kylie.
Right arm
This
back
is what you call Lord of the
behind
Fish.
us.
It's an awesome stretch.
Left elbow leverages against right knee. Looking back. Holding that for about a minute.
I did this workout twice yesterday.
Adjust your glance and just notice how the subtlest change in your glance can really affect the whole stretch of your body.
So looking down to the ground or looking up or just looking straight back. It makes such a difference. It's wild.
Straighten your both legs out in front for staff pose and rainbow your arms up to steeple grip, stretching up tall before switching and getting your left knee over your right knee and twisting to the left with your left arm back, your right elbow leveraging against your left knee. Looking back. We will get into the staff pose again, straightening your legs out in front. And we will do eagle arms on each side. First, your right elbow over your left. Pushing elbows slightly up. Bending neck down. And then undoing that.
It's such a good stretch for your shoulders.
Into a cactus pose with the arms, and then eagle arms on the other side, your left elbow
And
over your
if you
right
guys can
elbow.
see what eagle arms is,
Pushing your elbows slightly
hands
up,
flat
bending
against
your
each
neck
other.
down.
You can also Google any of these poses.
Then we will rainbow our hands up overhead into steeple grip, sitting tall. Holding that for about 30 seconds. And then bending forward for about 10 seconds. And then we will lie down on the mat with knees bent, feet on the mat. Get your left foot into the strap at the ball of your right foot. Sorry. Get the left foot into the strap on the ball of your foot. Right foot over your left.
Sorry, some idiot's trying to call me. Is that going to mess up my whole video now? Come on, go back on video.
thigh for the reclined pigeon. We'll hold that reclined pigeon. Such a great stretch. One of my favorites.
Got to hold it extra long because of the phone call. That's all right. Sorry for all the background noise. It happens.
And bending your knee is an option in the reclined pigeon. We're playing with the knee straight and then bent. Switch sides. We'll get our right foot into that strap on the ball of the foot. Left foot over right thigh for that reclined pigeon on the other side. Again, bending the knee if you wish, straightening the knee. Just staying in that position for about a minute. Feels so good.
It's the reclined pigeon.
Now with the feet back to the mat.
I said that earlier, but if you didn't catch
We'll
it.
hug our knees to our chest for about 20 seconds. Hugging those knees, bending that neck, forehead to the knees. Now we'll get our right knee over our left knee and we'll fall the legs to the right side. Hold that for a minute. Feel that stretch. Have your arms in the T, looking out over your left fingertips with your gaze. Then you can turn your head the opposite direction slowly. And coming out of that, we'll get our feet flat on the mat in neutral, and then hugging the knees to chest again. Stretching the neck towards the knees again. Hold for a full breath or two, and then we'll get our feet to the mat, and this time our left knee over the right, falling the knees to the left side for a minute. Keeping our gaze out over our right fingertips. Just feel that stretch. It feels so good. Just relax into it. Deep breaths. When we're done, we will hug the knees one more time. Hug them tight, rocking and rolling. And then getting into our happy baby position for 1 to 2 minutes.
Happy baby is hands on your feet. And you can roll around. You can
Happy
be
baby
still.
is always one of my favorites.
Proper happy baby is with the hands on the outer sides of the feet, elbows on the insides of the legs.
I like to play around with
But you can mix it up.
straightening the legs.
You can do whatever you want.
Bending the legs, bending the knees.
It's a great stretch.
Just really feel that stretch in your back and your thighs. And again, rocking and rolling in your happy baby. Such a happy baby. Breathe into it. With a block, we will do our supported bridge. You can use one block, you can use 2 blocks.
So feet on the
You
mat
can keep it on its lowest
for
side.
supported bridge. Putting that block under the small of your back.
We'll hold that supported bridge.
I'm going to try to do the medium
for
level.
at least a minute.
There we go. That's a nice stretch.
While still on the block, we'll put our legs up a wall with or without a strap, and we'll hold that position for another minute. Again, you can play with bending the knees slightly, straightening the knees.
Maybe rolling your ankles, engaging
And
your
now,
feet.
if it's in your practice, we have an option here for shoulder stand and for the plow. Let's first hold our shoulder stand for at least a full 30 seconds. Straightening out your shoulder stand and then lowering your legs over your head towards the floor for the plow for another 30 seconds. Now we'll roll down to the floor one vertebrae at a time, tucking your chin all the way down to the corpse pose for a full 3 minutes, resting into the corpse pose.
I always like to have a bolster under my knees for corpse. That's just me. Actually, a lot of people do, but not everyone. And every once in a while, I'm good without it. Sometimes it's hard to just be still. This corpse pose can be very challenging. The challenge of being still.
Now, if you're comfortable rocking with your chin tucked, coming up into a staff pose,
That's not safe for
reaching
everyone to come up like that.
rainbowing your arms again into that steeple grip.
Don't push
and
yourself.
Sitting tall.
It might
Hold
look
that
easy,
for
but
about
it's
30 seconds.
that's a tough one to do for a lot of people. Just coming up like that. So if you're going to try it, just be super careful and tuck your chin.
Tall in your steeple grip.
Tall in the saddle.
And then we'll get into easy pose.
And
Do
this
some chanting.
is easy pose. Just crisscross applesauce. No.
Again, we'll rainbow our arms up overhead to prayer hands. Bringing our thumbs or our knuckles to our third eye on the way down to hands to heart. And bow to close. And so it is.
Thank you for practicing with me today. Yoga.
Thank you so much for practicing.
Yoga is a gift we give ourselves.
Have a blessed day.
So this is a really nice practice to wake up in the morning to. It's also a really awesome practice to do to get ready for sleep. I've been enjoying it so much that I've been doing both. I have been doing it twice a day, many days, both morning and night. And it's amazing what a workout it is because it feels so relaxing and soothing. And it is so relaxing and soothing. But you'll feel it. You'll know. Your body will say thank you. So let me find my glasses and read what people have written. It looks like Anna Bees is here. Let's see. Good morning, Michael said an hour ago, everyone. And hi, Jazz. Have a wonderful workout today. And God bless everyone. Amen. Nice. Hi, Jazz, Mrs. Amir and Michael and everyone just stopping by to say hi. I have to go to sleep. I'm working again tonight. Aw, thanks, Anna Bees, for dropping in to say goodnight. So, yeah, let's see. We are just at 60 minutes exactly almost. And I did want to mention, of course, our Kylie Rodney case. Always Kylie Rodney. It seems so obvious of such a cover-up. And the tragedy is both justice for Kylie and justice in general. And the challenge that it gives the public to really trust law enforcement. So currently we've got this new case going on with Mica Miller in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. I'm telling you, it's a crock, you guys. It's 100% BS. The truth might not ever come out, but for that estranged husband, JP, to be at a sporting event in public, I mean, how perfect is that for your alibi? Most people that are going to plan something like that are going to plan a perfect alibi. So there's so many fishy things about it. And I just don't think things are as they seem. We will find out if things shift, which I think they will. Just the fact alone that he started spending time with her when she was 14 and he was 28. I think they were hanging out daily by the time she was 15 and he was 29. He's a freaking pedophile. And she's not the only one that he has been tight with at that young age, young teenage years. These people are just monsters. Yes, Anna B says she doesn't believe him either. Well, I also don't believe the sheriff that said self-inflicted. And why did that guy use that word self-induced? That's really weird. That's a really weird kind of a slip of the tongue, like a Freudian slip. I think it was induced, but I don't think that it was self-inflicted. I think it was made to look like it was self-inflicted. In fact, we all know that Mica had told people for a long time if she's ever found with a bullet in the head, it was not her who did it. And here she is found with a bullet in her head. And sure, anything's possible. Yeah, she could have been setting him up to make it frame him, right? It sounds to me like she just wanted to get on with her life. And he had been served the final papers like 48 hours before this tragedy. And it's common knowledge with domestic violence that when a woman is leaving is the most dangerous time, not just for violence, but for life-threatening violence. So there's so many things that JP did wrong, like not mentioning her passing until the end of his sermon rather than the beginning. And then showing his hand, showing what a narcissist he is, what a control freak he is, how he thinks he has the power of God. He tells the congregation to exit the church silently without speaking of it. Wow. He really stepped in it. But for that, we can thank him. He keeps giving himself away in so many ways. Again, it's demeanor. Demeanor is one of the best pieces of evidence. We can go back to Kylie Rodney's case. We can go to Meredith Kircher's case. We can go to the Watts case. We can go to the Suzanne Morphew case. Demeanor, the lack of emotion, the lack of empathy. Even if you're going through a divorce, you're still going to be hit like a ton of bricks if the person that you'd been married to did that to themselves. But if you knew it was coming, you're going to be stoic and you're going to try to not show a crack in the facade, right? Then the fact that it was in a state park. You know, criminals are very familiar with jurisdiction or lack thereof. And when you get into federal land, state park land, county, it gets fuzzy. The sheriffs will step in, but there's also the State Bureau of Investigation. There's also the feds, like if it's a federal park, but this was a state park. And it sounds like there are a lot of law enforcement officials that go or went to that church, Solid Rock. But to me, to wrap this up, the biggest piece of evidence that that man is 1,000% guilty is that his church dropped him like a hot potato. No church is going to do that to their pastor when he's grieving and suffering immensely. No church would do that without good reason. So on that, peace out, you guys. Sending you light, sending you love. Thank you again for joining me. I've tried to do this video 3rd time's a charm, yesterday and the day before. Maybe I did it twice yesterday, but no sound. And I thought I resolved it midstream. because I tried it live yesterday morning, and then I tried pre-recorded last night, and now I think it's all resolved. And yeah, I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about Mica and JP and all of his womanizing and the things he made her do, the things he forced her to witness. I'm very suspicious. So I get really sick of content creators that just say, oh, well, the official said this, so therefore it is. Have we not learned by now? You can't always trust the officials, especially when they're too quick. They're not going to tell you that it was self-inflicted that quickly. They're going to tell you something more to the effect of no suspicion of foul play, it's still under investigation. And it takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight for that information to come out. It just doesn't. So something's up. Oh, and the guy who self-dispatched himself out there, the medical examiner that was not the one on call, you don't self-dispatch yourself. Like, he should be under investigation for that right there. All right, you guys. Sending you light, sending you love, and more later. Hopefully we'll be getting a chat with, true crime. I miss it. I do miss it a lot. Thanks so much.